In the southern Andes, where the air thins to half of what your lungs remember, the mountains have names older than Spanish, older than Quechua, older than any language still being spoken. The locals call this peak Apuera, the Lord of the Wind. For 500 years, no one has climbed its eastern face in winter. In June of 2024, a 78-year-old shaman named Mama Sayri left her village before sunrise. She had walked these slopes since she was 11 years old. She told no one where she was going. The night before, she had dreamed of a girl asking to be brought home. The mountain had moved in the night. A shelf of ice the size of a small church had slid from the eastern wall of the summit, exposing a hollow in the rock that no human had entered since the year 1521. That was the year the Spanish reached Cusco. That was the year the Inca Empire began to fall. Inside the hollow, something was the color of skin. Mama Sayri did not flinch. She had been a Paco, a healer who walks between worlds, for 62 years. She had seen what the ice keeps, but she had not seen this. The girl was perhaps 13 years old. She was sitting upright, her hands folded in her lap, her head slightly tilted forward, as if she were listening to something no one else could hear. She wore a red and white aksu, woven in the style of the imperial Inca court. Around her neck hung a tupu, a silver pin, shaped like a sun. Her skin was the color of cold honey. Her eyelashes were still there. Her lips were slightly parted. Mama Sayri knew what she was looking at. She was a capacocha, a child chosen by the empire to be carried into the mountains and given to the gods. For 5 centuries, the Inca had sent their most beautiful children to the highest peaks of the Andes, where the cold would preserve them as messengers to the sky. This girl was one of them, or so Mama Sayri thought, until she saw what was in the girl's mouth. The Inca had no written language. They counted with knotted strings called quipu. They recorded harvests, taxes, armies in colored threads and tied loops. But they did not write, not on stone, not on cloth, not on skin. So when Mama Sayri saw 11 small symbols carved into the girl's tongue, arranged in a single line, she understood immediately that whatever this girl was, she was not only Inca. The shaman did not have the words for what she was seeing. She only had the dream from the night before. She wrapped the marks in white cloth and walked back down the mountain to the only person in the village who had ever left it, her grandnephew, a linguist at the National University of San Marcos. The symbols on the girl's tongue were not Quechua. They were not Aymara. They were not any script known to have existed in the Americas before 1521. They were Phoenician, or something so close to Phoenician that the difference could not be measured by a man who had only seen the script in books. Phoenician was a script of merchants, of sailors, of a people who had crossed the Mediterranean and then the Atlantic coast of Africa, and then, according to a few stubborn historians, no one took seriously, perhaps further. The girl had been sealed in the Andes for 500 years. The script in her mouth was 3,000 years old, and from a civilization that died 1,500 years before she was born. 11 symbols on the tongue of a 13-year-old girl in a mountain that no European had ever climbed, in a body that had been preserved by the cold of a continent that, according to every history book ever printed, had no contact with the old world until 1521. Mama Sayri went back up the mountain alone. The wind had stopped. The sun was setting behind the western ridge. The ice was the color of an old bruise. She knelt in front of the girl, and she did what a Paco does when she meets a soul who has been waiting for someone to ask the right question. She listened, She did not say what she heard. When the linguists from Lima came 2 days later, the girl was gone. The hollow was filled with fresh snow. The 11 symbols, wrapped in white cloth, were the only thing Mama Sayri returned to the world below. She would not say where she put the body. She said only, she was tired of being a messenger. She wanted to go home. The 11 symbols are now held in a locked case at a university in Lima. 3 linguists have proposed 3 readings. None of them agree. One of them says the symbols spell a name. One of them says they spell a place. One of them refuses to say anything at all. There is a stretch of coastline on the eastern Mediterranean where 3,000 years ago a Phoenician child might have stood and looked out at the sea and wondered what was beyond it. Whether one of them ever found out, and whether one of their descendants somehow reached the Andes and somehow 15 centuries later left a fragment of their alphabet in the mouth of a girl who was about to be given to the sky, we do not know. The ice does not forget. It only waits to be asked the right question.